Hello, everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and welcome to Dear Profiler Pat. If you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. And if you want me to answer one of your questions, please do send me an email to profilerpatbrown@gmail.com and put in the subject line, Dear Profiler Pat, so I know that's what you're asking. You want some advice from me, and I'm always happy to give advice. I'm one of those people. Anyway, you can take my advice or take part of my advice. I always hope it helps. All right, today, this question is a question I've heard many times, but I once answered it on Quora. And so I am actually going to read to you from my answer on Quora because it was one of the top answers I've ever given and seemed to be very, very well received by people. They were very thankful that I wrote this because they felt it really helped them. And so I'm hoping this will help you as well. The question is, Dear Profiler Pat, I am terrified of death. Can you help me? And I think even if people deny it, almost everybody is scared of death. Some people say they're only scared of how they're going to die. They just don't want to be in pain. But they seem to say that, well, but I'm okay with dying. And yet, most people really aren't. They're scared. They don't know what comes after death, and sometimes one will have a religion or a spiritual belief that helps them tremendously. And I'm going to say, if you have that, this is wonderful. But I'm going to give an answer that doesn't include a particular religion or spiritual belief. But I'm going to point out some things that I think will help everybody, regardless of what they believe in. And let me take off my glasses because I have to read, and my glasses are not reading glasses. All right, so this is what was written on Quora. I believe that after my death, I will simply cease to exist. It terrifies me. Actually, it terrifies me so much that it sometimes keeps me from sleeping or forces me to stop and sit down when I'm walking on the street. Is there anything I can do? And I really can relate to this because I remember that same feeling when I was a teenager after my grandmother died. Because I realized people die. And then I realized I'm going to die. And one thing I can tell you guys, the one way I can't help you is I can't stop you from dying. I can't do that. So therefore, we are all going to die. And we are, in spite of what people say, most people are, quite frankly, scared of that. And this was my answer. I totally understand your dread and the people that say, don't worry, because when you die, you will either be in some other life or you will simply cease to exist and won't know it. Hey, the latter is the reason for incredible panic. So if you believe you're going to absolutely have no question that you're going to be in another life, whether it be in heaven, whether it be on this earth, then you probably are a little more relaxed about what's going to happen after you die. You believe you're going to be okay. You're going to exist. But for people who aren't so sure of that, even some people who do have strong religious, spiritual beliefs, they still have that question. Maybe, what if I'm wrong? And then there's people who do not believe in particularly anything at all, and they're very terrified. And so when the people say, oh, don't worry about it, because if you don't exist, you won't know it. Get out of here. I think you're all full of it. I think, yeah, I think you want to exist regardless of what you say. And I think that the thought of not existing is terrifying no matter what you say, because we love life. I mean, we may not love the life we're living. We might not love the body we're in, especially if we're getting older, we have some real horrible disabilities. We may not love the way we're existing now, but we still would love to exist. And the thought of not existing can be terrifying because isn't our whole life about existence and relationships with people? And we bring children into this world. Do we bring children into this world going, hey, don't worry about it, because in another 80 years, you won't exist? Why bother? You won't even remember you won't remember me or anything about this life. It won't matter because you won't remember a thing. Too bad. What the heck? We bring children into this world because we want to love them and have them love us and have this great life together. We don't want our children to die either. We don't want to believe that they won't exist after they die. See, I just think that's a lot of people who have fear, who are trying to pretend they don't have fear. Okay, now let me get to what I wrote. Let me offer some reasons, without any religious input, to believe there is a continuation of existence after we leave this physical body that we inhabit now. 1, we tend to believe that filling up a certain amount of space equals existence. Yet we once occupied a body when we were born that was quite small. And then our body changed over and over and over again throughout our life, and we're still ourselves in it. This is like a car that you do work on or a house that you add rooms to. You're still you when you drive that remodeled car, and you're still you in that remodeled house. You just have a slightly new and different experience. Then, when we leave this body on earth, we may be in another body of some sort or other, big or small, physical or spiritual, but we still will be us. Like selling our car or our house and getting a completely new one, we're still inside the new one. And I think this is very important to understand, that we really do not understand how much space we need to take up to exist. And we don't understand even existence when we look at the entire universe. It's crazy. I mean, where in space are we as a planet? Do we exist because we're small in all of space? So we do exist in space in some form, and we may well exist, we can all hope, in some form in the future. 2, much as we want to cling to this life we know, we would get bored if we remained the same one for eternity. This is why we enjoy going through different decades in our lives, having children, being free of children, going to school, finishing school, getting a job, changing jobs, moving to a new place, getting new relationships. At some point, we will want to have another chance at a new life and all the excitement and challenge that it brings. And I truly feel this, we do love the people in our lives. Many times we would think I don't want to be without them. I have 3 children. Those are my 3 children and my granddaughter, and my sisters. I mean, one has passed on, one is still here with me. I wanted to stay with me. My parents, I love the people who have been in my life. But I have to say, let's say it went on for thousands of years and nothing changed. Will we start getting really bored and annoyed with each other? Would I want to live in the same place, to do the same things over and over and over again? And I'm already suffering from a level of boredom at turning 70, because I've done so much in my life. I keep looking for what new things can I do, because I want new experiences. I'd like to meet new people. So we have that need in ourselves to grow and have challenge. So moving into a new life, one we know that we have no idea what it's going to be, might be a very exciting thing. It doesn't necessarily mean we might not remember our previous life. I don't know how that works. So maybe we'll get the benefit of both of those things. I don't know. There are some people who believe that, of course, if they go to heaven, that they would meet with the people that they love. Or if they return to earth, they would all have the people that loved around them. Some people believe in reincarnation, and they would say, well, we come back and we don't remember our previous life, but who knows? Maybe in between our lives, we get to remember everything. Who knows? Because we don't know. But I do believe that we love new experiences and challenges. And so maybe that's what's ahead for us. All right. 3, our lack of memory should actually encourage us about the future. Think about a baby who reacts with smiles and giggles at your face and voice, and how that baby loves to nurse and eat, and how that baby learns new things, learns to crawl and walk, play and talk, and enjoy its life. That baby enjoys its life immensely. Do you remember those days? I bet you don't. Like if you remember anything before 4 or 5 years old. Does that mean you were not in existence because you can't remember that far back? Were you not a baby? Were you not a toddler? Of course you were. And did you have all those experiences? Of course you did, but you don't remember them. So does that mean you do not exist? Well, no, it doesn't. That's not what it means. Now let's look further. Think about your grandchild or grandchild that's in front of you. And when they get older, they won't remember it, but you will. You'll say, hey, I remember you being a baby. And they're like, I don't remember that. Yeah, well, but you were. And I remember that you reacted when I did things with you. You were there. You were fully there in the moment, just like you are now. You existed then, just like you exist now, but you just don't remember it. Now, further, can you remember all the days of your schooling, your marriage, even the time you spent with your children? Sometimes my kids come up with stuff. I'm like, really? That's what happened? I don't remember. Unless you have a lot of photos and videos, which we didn't in my age. We didn't have that. Now we have way more So people will be able to review those things and think that they remember what they do not actually remember. So you may not be able to recall decades of your life. You'll have these things that were super important that you remember. That's why we have these flashes of things. But the rest of the stuff we don't remember. Oh, my God, if we remembered every single thing, every single moment, we'd lose our damn minds because we can't keep all that stuff constantly in our head. But the point is, you did live all those decades and you enjoyed so many days, enjoyed so many experiences that have now slipped from your mind. But you know how something can suddenly cause a memory to pop back in your head, as I was just saying. That's because your mind is like a computer and all your memories are stored there. Who says you don't? But you can only access so many. It's like if you go to your computer, I have tons and tons of files on my computer. There are things I don't remember having written, whatever. They're in files. And if I can't find the file, I can't bring it back. But if I can find the file, there it is. I go, oh my God. And then it's right back in my head. I'm like, yeah, I remember writing that. So it's not that it's gone in the computer. It's just that we have to access it. It's not that it's gone in our mind, but we just sometimes have difficulty accessing it. All right. So when you leave this body, who says you don't exist and have memories of this life? When you move on to another body, spirit, or physical, you probably retain some of the more recent memories, but eventually get involved in a new life, and those memories diminish. However, maybe through many lives, we have times when we can access how we lived before. That's if you believe we have many lives. And the thing is, whether we have many lives on earth, whether we have many lives in heaven, whether we have many lives in whatever the heck we might have many lives in, versions of our lives. I don't know, but I would say that we might get some of those memories back at certain points, and then we might just put them aside so we can do new things. So also, maybe that baby in the womb still has memories of its past life, whether that be because people believe in reincarnation or whether it's because they believe that that baby was with God, that spirit was with God before it came into this world. It came from someplace. And it still has memories. Maybe it has memories of its past life, but when the baby puts aside those memories, when it's born into the new world, now the baby's like, whoa, where am I? Suddenly I see new faces. I'm in a new place. And that's what the focus is going to be on. And whatever came before is something that, well, it's just something that you can't spend your time paying attention, looking in the rearview mirror, because you got to move forward. So maybe the same thing is true after we die. The same thing is true. Wherever we are, whether it be heaven or some other place or whatever, we can't spend all our time thinking about our previous life on earth, because that would be perhaps detrimental. Now, maybe under certain circumstances that all can come rushing back, or we could be reunited with people. I don't know how it all works. So I'm just saying, we don't know. And that's the point. All right. 4, look around at the incredible planet we live on. Is this all an accident, like some people think? I don't know about you, but if I chuck a crate of Legos across the room, I don't end up with a palace. I end up with a pile of Legos. So this world just fell together. The immense variety of plant life and animal life and human life is just luck. Have you noted the incredible lives of even ants and bees? How they build and socialize and create? This is an accident? The amazing things humans have created and built. The music, the artworks, the architecture, computers, etc. Is this all just luck? Or is there a powerful force of creation and logic that make this world possible? And I look around me every day and I'm like, look at this place. I can't believe it. I can't even believe sitting in my house. I'm looking at this house I live in, and somebody had to figure out how to build this house, which happened to be my son-in-law and my sons and my daughter. They built this house for me. And I think of all the things in this house that people have put together. And I think of, I think when I walk outside and I see the trees and I see the animals and the birds, I'm like, what the heck? I mean, all of this is amazing stuff. And I've seen this stuff for years and years and years, traveling the world, all the magnificent wonders of the world, both natural and man-made. It's just phenomenal. And this is all just an accident. Like somehow some blobs came together and they just turned into different things with so many abilities. I think animals blow me away the most because they have, each animal has these exact abilities that they do. And it's all, well, people say, well, it's just genetic. Where did that genetic stuff come from? All these things just flew together and boom, turned into the most amazing thing ever. Again, if I throw Legos across the room, it doesn't turn into a palace. It's just a pile of Legos. I have to actually have a book that tells me how to make things, or I have to have enough skills to figure out how to put the Legos together to build something. It's not an accident. I don't believe for a minute that everything around me is an accident. It's just too phenomenal. Like I can't fathom it. It's crazy. All right. So five, finally, believing that there's more out there than you can see and comprehend. Think of an ant. It can hardly comprehend skyscrapers and airplanes. It's down, this big, lives there, and it can't see. It doesn't even know skyscrapers and planes exist. The ant has no clue about that. But think about what an ant understands that we don't understand because we can't see things in their ant tunnels and underground world that they live in. We have no clue what's really going on down below the earth. We cannot know what a bird knows of the sky and a fish knows of the sea. Well, yes, we do fly in the sky and we can sort of see things, but it's from a bird's point of view, it's completely different. And we've been under the sea, but the entire world under the sea is so incredible. And that's the world they know. The fish do not know of the sky, and the birds in the sky do not know of the fish, except when they swoop down and eat them. But they don't know the world underneath the water. And we as humans probably know very little about the universe and everything that exists because we don't have that ability any more than certain animals have the ability to understand other parts, other ways of living than the way they live. All right, and let's also this. What about cell phones? Yes, I know there's a scientific explanation for cell phones, but how is it my sister can be in her car in Florida and call me on a train in India, and while we're both moving, we can miraculously hear each other clear as day? How is that possible? And it blows my mind. It really does. I was like, what the heck? How does her voice fly up through the air, fly over the ocean, and find me on a moving train? And it's like we're standing next to each other. And not only that, but while I'm on my phone, there's millions of people on their phones, so all their little voices are flying all over the world. I don't get it. I think it's magic. No, again, I know there's a scientific explanation, but it's beyond my ability to figure it out. It's crazy to me. And yet it's true. And the same is true for YouTube. And here I am making a video on my YouTube channel. And for some freaking reason, my voice and my whole way I look, every movement I make somehow flies through the air and ends up on your computer or iPad. What the heck? And you can click in a second, click, 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 and you can flip to so many different things. How does everything get picked up so quickly? I know there's a scientific explanation, but I'm not that bright. I can't figure it out. And it just freaks me out even thinking about that. Even back in the days of just plain old TV, I didn't get that either. Black and white TV, it's like, how do those people get in there? I mean, it's to me just miraculous. And if that's what man can do in some scientific form, and he had to build that, it didn't, again, happen accidentally. He has to build the satellite systems and all the components of the phones and the laptops and the iPads and the whole system to make it work. It's amazing. And if man can do that, why do we think that this whole universe around us, the whole world, the trees and the animals and all of that just were accidents? I just think that's ludicrous. So at any rate, that's the thing. There's a lot of unseen and incredible things that I think we just do not understand because we don't have an understanding of it. Maybe there is a power out there that does have an understanding, but we just don't, at least at this point in time. Okay, that's my whole thing on why I think we can have hope that after we pass on from this world, that we end up having a life elsewhere. We will exist, we will experience, and we will continue to experience. And maybe there is something to look forward to, especially if you get to a point where you're in this world, you're getting too old and infirm, and you're like, this sucks. because I can hardly do anything anymore. I'd like to get out of this body and be in another one, whether it be a physical or spiritual body. We don't know, because I mean, again, if I can fly through the air to your computer, I mean, if I can do that, and after I'm dead, you can still watch me, which is amazing. It's just amazing. We can still see that person alive and talking when they're no longer here. So why isn't it possible that we are whoever we are is not stuck in this body forever? And once we don't need this body anymore, the body's useless, we cannot move on, because maybe there's a power out there that created this entire universe and world that has that ability. And that, I hope, is hope for everyone, regardless of your religious or spiritual beliefs. Anyway, those are my thoughts, and I hope that helps anybody who is struggling with fear of death. And again, if you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe, because as long as I'm still here on Earth, I kind of like this channel to be successful. And I will see you next time. Send along your questions. Bye.